Do you remember the faces that haunted headlines, the names whispered, the mugshots staring back? From Son of Sam to the Green River Killer, the Night Stalker, the monster of Rostov, vanished behind bars but never from memory. Now, Dark Celebrities brings them back, not to glorify but to reveal the crimes, the trials, the punishment. These aren't just stories, they're nightmares we once lived. Subscribe now. Remember what you tried to forget. David Berkowitz, known as the Son of Sam, terrorized New York City in the summer of 1977. He targeted young couples parked in cars, shooting them with a .44 caliber revolver. His attacks seemed random, but the fear was calculated. He left letters for the police, taunting them and signing as Son of Sam. The media frenzy exploded, turning the city into a place of paranoia. Women dyed their hair to avoid fitting the victim's profile. The police launched one of the largest manhunts in NYC history. Berkowitz was eventually caught thanks to a parking ticket near the scene of his final shooting. He confessed to 6 murders and claimed he was obeying voices from a demon-possessed dog. Today, he's serving 6 life sentences. From behind bars, he calls himself a born-again Christian. But to the public, he remains the face of a summer soaked in blood and fear. Shadow crept through the city's nights, a man who entered homes uninvited, leaving horror behind. Richard Ramirez, dubbed the Night Stalker, murdered, assaulted, and tortured indiscriminately. Men, women, children, age meant nothing, nor did motive. He invoked Satan, leaving pentagrams at crime scenes. His eyes were cold, his grin feral. The city panicked, locks changed, people armed themselves. When police finally released a sketch, it was too late for many. Ramirez was captured not by officers, but by a mob, recognized on the street, beaten, held down, until police arrived. At trial, he showed no remorse. He laughed, he hissed, he said, "Hail Satan." In 1989, he was sentenced to death, but he died decades later, not in the chair, but of cancer in a prison hospital bed. A monster faded, but never forgotten. For decades, he was a ghost, the man behind a string of rapes, burglaries, and murders across California in the 1970s and 80s, vanished without a trace. He was called the East Area Rapist, the original Night Stalker. Later, they'd call him the Golden State Killer. He stalked his victims, tied them up, whispered horrors in the dark, then disappeared like smoke. The cases went cold, the trail faded, but in 2018, a match from a genealogy site lit a fire. Joseph James D'Angelo, a former police officer, hiding in plain sight for 40 years, a quiet neighbor, a father, a killer. When arrested, he whispered, "I did all those things I didn't want to do." In court, he sat slumped and silent, while his victims faced him. He pled guilty to 13 murders, avoiding the death penalty. D'Angelo is now serving life behind bars, old, frail, and finally unmasked. He called himself BTK, bind, torture, kill. For decades, Dennis Rader lived a double life, a devoted churchgoer, a Cub Scout leader, a city employee, but in secret, he was stalking, breaking in, and murdering. He chose his victims carefully, women, families, even children. After each kill, he vanished, only to resurface with letters to police. He craved attention, fed off the fear. Then, he disappeared. For 10 years, BTK was silent. In 2004, curiosity brought him back. He sent a floppy disk to the press. That disk held hidden metadata, his name, his church, his downfall. Dennis Rader was arrested in 2005. In court, he calmly confessed to 10 murders. He described each in chilling detail, unshaken, unashamed. Sentenced to 10 consecutive life terms, he remains imprisoned in Kansas. Dozens of children and young women vanished, mutilated, tortured, left in the snow. The killer was invisible, methodical, and horrifying. Andre Chikatilo, a former teacher and factory worker, was hiding behind routine. He lured victims with candy or promises of help. Then he struck, with knives, fists, teeth. The violence was unthinkable. For years, Soviet authorities denied the existence of a serial killer. It didn't fit the image of their state. Innocent men were arrested, executed. Chikatilo kept killing. He was finally caught in 1990 after being seen approaching a young boy at a train station. In custody, he confessed to 56 murders. His trial was chaotic. He ranted, exposed himself, screamed in court. In 1994, Chikatilo was executed with a single bullet to the head. His legacy, pain. You've reached the halfway point, but the darkest stories are still to come. Take a breath and brace yourself. But beneath the smile was a predator. Ted Bundy terrorized America in the 1970s, leaving a trail of murdered women across multiple states. He lured victims with fake injuries, crutches, or a friendly face. Once in his car, the nightmare began. He confessed to killing at least 30 women, though some believe the true number is far higher. He escaped custody twice. During his trial, Bundy acted as his own lawyer. Relishing the spotlight, he smiled for cameras, flirted with reporters. He even proposed to a witness in court. But behind the theatrics was a brutal killer. In 1989, after years of delays, Ted Bundy was executed in the electric chair. Crowds outside cheered as the lights dimmed. His legacy isn't just horror, it's how evil can hide in plain sight. 2 seconds of silence. He was invisible for years. Gary Ridgway worked at a truck factory in Seattle. Quiet, polite, forgettable. But by night, he became the Green River Killer. He preyed on sex workers and runaways. He lured them into his truck, strangled them, then returned to the bodies days later. The first victims were found in the Green River. Then came more. Dozens more. He killed efficiently, compulsively, always one step ahead. Police suspected him in the 1980s, but lacked proof. DNA testing wasn't ready. Ridgway passed lie detectors. It wasn't until 2001 that technology caught up. A saliva sample matched DNA on 4 victims. Ridgway was arrested. He confessed to killing 71 women, but hinted the number was over 90. He showed no emotion. To avoid the death penalty, he led police to burial sites. In court, he stared blankly as families wept. He remains in prison, serving life without parole. He posed as a charming, lonely man online. Stephen Port used dating apps like Grindr to lure young men into his apartment in East London. There, he drugged them with GHB, a powerful sedative, and injected fatal overdoses. He staged the scenes to look like suicides. Bodies were left in cemeteries, alleys, even outside his own building. At first, police believed him. They didn't connect the deaths. They didn't investigate the pattern. Families begged for answers. But Port kept killing. It wasn't until a relative pushed for a deeper inquiry that the truth unraveled. Police found fake suicide notes, written by Port, and CCTV showing him with the victims. He was arrested in 2015 and later convicted of 4 murders and multiple sexual assaults. In court, he remained silent, emotionless. The case led to national outrage and a full investigation into police failure. Stephen Port now serves a whole life sentence, with no possibility of release. Israel Keyes traveled across the U.S., hiding kill kits in forests and fields, guns, rope, cash, and acid buried for future use. He chose victims at random, no pattern, no connection, just opportunity. He kidnapped, tortured, and murdered, then flew home as if nothing had happened. He even ran a construction business in Alaska. In 2012, he abducted 18-year-old Samantha Koenig from a coffee stand. He kept her body frozen, staged fake ransom photos, and drained her bank account. ATM footage finally led to his arrest. But what he revealed shocked investigators. He admitted to at least 11 murders, possibly more, but refused to name them. He liked the mystery. In jail, Keyes drew skulls in blood on his cell wall, then killed himself before trial, a ghost with a toolbox of horror. He was a friendly face in Toronto's gay village. Bruce McArthur worked as a landscaper, smiling, quiet, unthreatening. But behind closed doors, he was hunting. For years, men vanished from the neighborhood. Many were immigrants. Some had no family. Police were slow to connect the disappearances. McArthur used dating apps to lure his victims. He strangled them, dismembered their bodies, and buried the remains in large planters at homes where he worked. He blended into the community, took part in parades, maintained clients' gardens. It wasn't until 2018 that police, using surveillance and a hidden camera, caught him in the act. They arrested him moments before he could harm another man. In total, McArthur confessed to 8 murders. He showed no emotion in court. He was sentenced to life without parole, a killer hiding in daylight, behind flowers and a smile. The images shown in this documentary are only visual representations. They do not depict real victims, real crime scenes, or actual events. Their purpose is to inform, not to glorify. If you found this story compelling, consider subscribing to our channel. Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and tell us which dark stories you'd like to see next. This is Dark Celebrities, Truth in Shadow.